Yesterday, I went to the Leeds Model Railway Show at Leeds Grammar School. And this video that follows my introduction here will be of a couple of items that I bought at the Model Railway Show. I really wasn't expecting to find anything that I was interested in because it was O gauge, OOHO and N scale mostly, 09 and 009 as well. Or some narrow gauge, various narrow gauges. And as you will know if you've watched other videos of mine, I do have an interest in 00, 4mm to the foot, but I'm getting more interested in the garden scale railways for various reasons. Anyway, I'll show you the couple of items that I found, and then there's another video which you will have either seen or could follow this one, which will be some of the stills that I took at the Leeds Model Railway Show. I had a choice of two shows this weekend. One was in Burnley and the other one was in Leeds, and I went to the Leeds show rather than try and cover both of those. So I hope you're interested to see what I found. I've just switched the camera around. And so at this show where 99% of the items on the stalls were in the smaller scales, I found this. And what you might recognize is Percy and the Troublesome Trucks. Now I have one of these, and I bought the Percy and the Troublesome Trucks train set. It cost me just short of just about the £200 mark. This is now second hand, no controller, no track, just the Troublesome Trucks and Percy, and the going price for these is £200 second hand. So, you know, they're not a bad investment. Sorry, that's come off I've been playing with it. They did test that it runs by putting some wires to the wheels. The first thing that will happen is these faces are coming off the trucks, and as I now have two Percys, I will keep one in original condition, and then that leaves me free to do what I like with the other one in terms of modification of the loco. They are a really good solid basis from which you can build up a good solid chassis under there that runs really quite well, metal wheels, and you know, a good solid plastic of the body. I've done something with a Thomas, the tank engine, and so I might be looking at what I can do with Percy. That's that one. Okay, so that's the first thing. Now the second thing, a little bit different, is what I consider, having looked at it, to be a rather fine model. It's the Cheddar Steam, or Cheddar Models Company's Iver locomotive. Apparently this manufacturer of steam plants and steam engines for marine mainly, ventured into garden scales with this very robust but rather basic garden railway item. I think they might have marketed it as gauge 1. It's 45mm gauge on the wheels, but it's a basic oscillating engine. So the principle is very similar to Mamod in terms of an oscillating engine there. It's gas fired. So you've got a gas tank over this side, a gas regulator, and that's the only control you have over this. That's the air jet mixture on that. That's the air gas mixture by that sleeve. That controls the gas into it. Well, no, it's not the only control. Pause that. This is and was sold as a remote control loco. So you have a steam dome here. Steam is taken out through an oiler to a block which connects into the oscillating locomotives. But before I look at that, while we've got this nice front end view of it, these were made in a number of liveries. One is just plain black. I think there was a maroon one and there was a green one, but this is in a rather attractive lined green. So there we have this lined green effect or livery on this model. Now, there was a later improvement to Iver, I think it was also called Iver, which included some simple valve gear. But this is just the very, very basic one. They are apparently, I've not run it, so I don't know, but they are apparently robust. And this is still with the AM receiver. And yeah, well, that's the transmitter, a Futaba AM transmitter. Yep. So there we go. It'll probably have the same crystal in it, I would hope. And so the servo, the single servo on this, controls the block which is between the two cylinders, controlling the phasing of the steam supply to the cylinders through the two valves that you've got there. I've taken the Mamod one apart, so I've seen how that works. I've no idea how this one works particularly, but you've got the steam coming in into your oscillating cylinders. So to hide the fact that they're oscillating cylinders, there is a casing over it, but no representation of any sort of valve gear. It looks very clean. It has been run. You can see that. There's still oil on it, so it's not, shown signs of any neglect at all. But I don't think it has been used an awful lot, because there's no signs of any heat damage to the paintwork and other sorts of damage that you would expect from something that had been run rather a lot. Nice clean buffer beam. There's what I would call patina or tarnish to the brass work on it. Basic model, receiver on this side under the frame. No, sorry, I've turned it upside down. On one side, batteries in there. It's got sight glass, a pressure gauge, which on quite a few of the other models is positioned rather lower down and looking out through the side windows, so the pipe work's different. The gas pipe work on some of the later models has got an extra coil in it, so it's more coiled than this one. But as I say, that's the only control, the steam valve. So they have been known to run away with themselves, and I was reading somewhere about exhaust regulator for it to make it better controllable, and I'll look into that some more. But there we are. That's something that I was able to pick up. The basic model doesn't, this one without the optional tender, there's no tender with this, but a very fine example. And so I might be talking about bashing Percy to change it, certainly bashing the troublesome trucks into straightforward trucks. But this is one, I think, to keep in original condition. Just maintain and look after this one, and any improvements will be, good, well thought through, and appropriate improvements, just so that it works as well as it possibly can. So I was pleased with that, to find this and get it for an appropriate price. Clearly, these things, if maintained well, appreciate in value. So they are, to some extent, a good investment, as long as you can find the right buyer. There we are, 2 green locos, bought from the Leeds Model Railway Show.